Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Muhammad Ismail and I will explain a little about interlanguage. What is interlanguage? In as we know, as I know, interlanguage is a practice of accepting a language where the language is between the first language and second language. So, in interlanguage, the language competence of learners is into situation, namely the language being understood and the language being studied pairs, because the target language he has not been able to live his tradition in the first language. Interlanguage is not a native language and it is not a target language. Besides, the position of the interlanguage is in the middle between first and middle language. Interlanguage here, the middle. Then, in the language acceptance, interlanguage is subjective by intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Although there is also strategy that are used which are oral and written language, then in interlanguage agrees for errors and mistakes. Computational models are exactly related to interlanguage. The computation model describes how the steps that learners go through. In interlanguage, from the input to the output, this language acquisition instrument works like a computer where a learner receives information, stores it and uses it. This is the step of how we accept computation models in real life. The first step here is that input is where the real learners see and record information from what they see. This procedure is the most basic process. Second is computation process is the information in short-term memory. For example, when they hear or see a word or phrase, it will be a stored in short-term memory. Third, second language. Third, second language knowledge. This takes agrees the learners to store information they have got in the long-term memory in a black box in which interlanguage is assembled. At this step, the learners can understand several things like present, past, future tense, but they still run into problems such as error and mistakes. Last is output. Output. In this step, learners are able to produce information by oral language and written language. In interlanguage, there are two kinds of transfer. They are positive and negative. Positive and negative. There are two kinds of transfer: positive and negative transfer. Positive and negative transfer. Positive transfer happens when a person's welcoming information and the listener can and respond to what is delivered. If there is an error in the procedure but the listener knows the meaning, it is still called a positive transfer. Next is negative transfer. Negative transfer happens when a person is unsuccessful to convey information. Usually, person can convey information and the person being spoken doesn't understand. To this person still in second language knowledge step. And besides, negative transfer happens when the people being spoken but to understand is unable to respond. Also, if the If the errors happens continual, it is defined a negative transfer. Next, the example of interlanguage. This is dialogue. Marus, Rus, what are you doing? Marus, I am making animal cake. Ron, what is the animal? Marus, my bird. I buy it yesterday. Ronnie, oh, can I saw it? Marus, yes, you can see the bird in first room. This dialogue, there are some mistake or error in this dialogue. It is by Marus. My bird, I buy it yesterday. By Marus have to use bow and the verb too, because by is verb one, because the the action have finished at yesterday. Marus have to use verb two. And Ronnie, oh, can I saw the dialogue of oh, can I saw it? Ronnie have to use saw see, because this is present time. Jadi untuk saat ini, can I saw, it should be can I see it. Yes, it is the errors of interlanguage. And the last, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi